never actually just really sat there and been like, not in my adult years, that I'm better than
Me
these people,
neither.
or I look better than these people, so this person should like me, or this person probably likes me. Because I've been told that, especially with me being light skinned, it was somebody that liked this dark skinned girl, and their friend was like, "Don't worry about." I didn't even like them, so I don't know why they was telling me.
It
But
always be
they
like
was
that.
like, "Don't worry," because I think he liked me or something. But she was like, "Don't worry, he don't like her. You light skin, he automatically gonna like you." And at the time, I had no idea what that meant. Like I did not know what that meant. 'Cause I was like, confusion.
Like, what
What?
you mean?
Right? Like question mark. What? But I have experience where people have already had an opinion of me
Right.
without them even knowing me. So like with my growing up, I've been broke. Hell, I'm broke now. I've been broke. I've
Same.
been without food. I've been without water. I've been without electricity. I struggle. I've been through the struggle. I have struggled. I know what the struggle is like. And apparently the side of town that I lived on was the bad side. Like literally nothing ever happened. I mean, okay, I can't say nothing, but for the most part, nothing ever happened over there. And I remember people like when dudes finally, because nobody actually like outside of my friend group, nobody like just came and talked to me. Like nobody tried to like date me or anything like that in the city. That or I just wasn't paying attention. But when dudes would approach me and talk to me and try to figure out, like, when we start talking online and stuff, when that became a thing, and they'd be like, what side of town you stay on? And I'd tell them, and they were like, you stay over there? And I'm like, yeah, I thought you stay like in the quarters or something like that. I thought you stayed over there, probably in those houses. Like, I
What?
wish, but no.
Right.
Like, who can afford
Mm,
that? No, we probably get kicked out anyway. But no, I don't
right.
stay over there. And then when I met my sister, my friend who I call my sister, and her at the time, he wasn't her boy. Yes, he was her at the time boyfriend, her husband now, but at the time boyfriend. He had never seen my car. My baby was a sky blue Lincoln Town car. I had no air, no heat. I didn't have a radio. My trunk was tied down. I had to manually tie it down. My windows didn't work. Only one window worked, and you had to push it and pull it up by hand. But she got me from point A, B, C, D. She got me wherever I needed to
She
go.
did
That
the
was my
job.
baby. She had a horrible oil leak. The battery sometimes would shut off, and I would have to take like a wrench and knock it a couple of times, and then it'll come on back and crank up and go. Like that was my baby. That was my first car. That was my baby. And we went outside because I was like, yeah, I'm hungry. And they was like, can you take us to go get something to eat? I'm like, yeah, y'all come on. And it was a cute little bug parked next to my car. And I'm walking toward my car. Like I
Right.
obviously I know my car. I'm walking toward my car. And he's like walking towards the bug. He was like, this is your car? And I'm like, yeah. I always thought you probably had like one of these, like a little cute little bug, or maybe a little Toyota or Nissan or something. I was like, nope, big body right here. This my baby. I gotta let you in from the passenger side, but this my baby.
Right.
And I've always had that. Like every time I explain either a situation I'm in, or the people saw how I lived, or how, what I drove, stuff like
Right.
that, they always shout like, this is you?
Right. Like, what
What
is
am I
that?
supposed to have?
Like, do people really just be sitting there picturing like the life you got because of how you look? That's weird to me.
Real life be thinking you live in like a 2, 3 story house with a dog and white picket fence, and it's like whole time I'm over here where these fools over here shooting dice in the alleyway, but they ain't bothering nobody.
Right. That's crazy. I don't think I ever got the this where you live because like where I'm from, everybody know everybody. So like it's they know how I was living. They knew how I was living. It was more so like who you hanging with, you single. I got that a lot. Where your husband at? Like when I first graduated high school, the amount of times people was asking me where my husband was at was ridiculous. Not what college you going to, not what you want to do, like what career you're going into. Where your husband at? You ain't got no kids yet. Where your like what? First of all, I'm sick. I'm sickly.
Not
What you thought I
sickly.
was gonna do? I don't got the energy for that. What you mean?
That's how they be. I can relate to Zuri a lot because I was put in pageants, not anything major, thank God, but I was definitely put into pageants a lot. And I was also the perfect child because I was real quiet. I didn't talk to
Right.
nobody. I did exactly what I was told. Like my mama used to brag, tell anybody. She was like, if you told her to stay, if y'all was in a store full of people and you told her stand right here and you walked away, you could go over that entire store and come back and guarantee she's still standing in that same spot. Yeah, that's how I was. In here though,
I was
in
quiet,
here,
but I ain't been obedient.
right. In here, everything was going on.
Right.
Everything at one time was going on. I wasn't acting it, but I guarantee my little brother, they said he was bad because he was. That nigga was bad. But everything he did was stuff I used to think about.
But you never did
Everything
though.
he would physically do, he was basically a physical manifestation of my brain because everything he did was stuff that I thought about. He just actually acted it out, but I
Bro.
didn't do it. And my grandmother used to put me in pageants, pageants, every pageant that was coming up. You can guarantee my name was already on the list before they even sent it out. Dresses, I don't care what the cost was, dresses, if we had to do like a fundraiser or
Mhm,
whatever, she was going to make sure I was in that pageant, made sure I knew how to answer those questions,
mhm,
made sure I dotted my I's and my crossed my T's, made sure I talked as properly as possible. Even my
right.
other grandparents were like teaching me like table etiquette. Not saying it's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
I don't know where I'm gonna use it, but like I don't know where I'm gonna use it, but they teach you, this is this fork, this is this spoon. No singing at the table, no
Isn't
humming at
it
the
funny how
table.
none of that stuff matters now? It's
Right.
so funny now.
So like I'm not where did you think I was gonna go? And like they fought for me to be a debutante. Like I had to write this whole essay, paid a little fee
Sheesh.
or whatever, why I should be a debutante. I didn't turn the sheet in. I just didn't.
Did they know?
After the fact, yeah, because apparently the people called my name and I wasn't there. Because
Wow.
they was like, you have to do this, that, and the third. And it was like $300 at the time. And I'm like, my mama is struggling. I
Right.
know my grandma is struggling. And y'all are trying to pay $300. Not to mention, I still got to get the dress, still got to participate in this stuff. I still got to get the school. I'm not no. It was
Yeah.
like, make sure you turn this paper in. I ain't do it. I went to school the next day. All the girls was like, Van, they called your name. For why?
That's how I
I
used
ain't
to be
pay
for them
nothing.
programs.
For why? And then like pageants at school would come up and everybody was like, Van, what color your dress gonna be? I'm not doing that. And everybody, and I mean everybody, principals, assistant principals, secretaries, everybody was shocked. Like, you're not gonna be in it. This is when I finally had a chance. When they were like, don't forget to tell your parents that this and this is going on because they don't send home no
Right.
notices.
Right.
That's how I used to get away with it because my grandma would never know until it was coming up. And she was like, why you didn't tell me? Because I didn't want to do it.
Right.
And I just be like, I forgot. I
W-
forgot.
We ain't even used to have patches and stuff around here. I feel like maybe like the bigger cities and like they far. Like you gotta ride at least 30-45 minutes to get to a bigger city. We ain't even had like I was in one pageant, that was a church pageant. I ain't took that seriously. My mama was mad at me because I had let my cousin wear one of my dresses. She like, why you let her? Girl, I don't care nothing about this thing. What
Right.
you
I
talking
remember
about?
my very last pageant, I was literally placed in. I was in class and they called me to the office. And the assistant principal was like, you're going to be Miss. I don't even remember what it was, but she was like, you're going to be Miss. Da, 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 da. And I was just like,
What?
how you just going to decide that for me?
Right.
And she was like, I already, like, we're a very small town. So, like, how you say everybody know everybody, everybody knew everybody. So she was like, I already called your grandma and let her know. And I'm like, damn.
Dang.
So I had this big ass, fluffy, feathered
I remember you
red
telling me
dress,
this.
super fluffy red dress. Nobody, everybody else had like the slick, like satin like
Yeah.
dresses or like the regular little gowns and stuff. Me, halter, fluff,
Princess.
red. Everybody else was like subtle colors,
Your grandma
blue.
said you was gonna stand out.
And I did. Tell me why when I graduated, every pageant I saw posted online at that school had the dress that I had. Every girl had dresses like the one that I had.
Not you
I was
being a
like,
prototype.
ain't this some shit? But I did not enjoy that stuff. Like when it came to my daughters, my grandmother laid eyes on my middle daughter and was like, "Oh, we can get her in some pageants." I said, "No, the hell we ain't. No, the hell we not. We not doing it. She is like the true definition of a free spirit. No, the hell we not.
Right.
I'm not doing that shit to her because she naturally looks like she has on makeup. Nope, I'm not doing it to her.
That's
No, we are
so
not
like
doing it."
that's the first thing they or you should be you should model, you should do pageants like for the little programs and stuff we used to have at school. I was getting put in them too when I was a kid, but then when I got older, nah, like I'm not showing up. Like you can put me on that program. I'm not coming. I'm not showing up. So I ain't trying to do this.
Girl, one girl, she was in high school at the time. I think I was like Miss third grade or some shit like that.
They had
It
pageants
was
like
a
that at y'all
side
school?
competition. Huh?
Excuse me. They had pageants like that at y'all school?
Mm-hmm. And we had like a little side competition, I think they did. I won, which like out of the whole school, I won. And the other girl was up there crying, like there we have pictures of her standing next to me, like glaring at me and crying. And I'm like, I
So
was in
a
the
full
fourth
Zuri
fucking
moment.
grade.
So it was
You
fitting
were,
that I gave her your middle name. You was
yeah,
Zuri.
because I relate wholeheartedly because all of the stuff that I was put through, like I started rebelling hard as fuck in high school. I did. Like I stopped doing, that phrase, it hurts me more than it hurts you.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of the stuff to hurt them, but it did hurt me. I got my first 1.0 because I was like legit not doing my work. I would get tests and not even
Wow.
put my name on them
You
and
did
turn them
say
in.
that. You did tell me
Yeah.
that.
And that report card came.
Your
That
your
whole said
your grandma
1.0. I was
your
like,
grandma
oh,
wasn't having it.
Screw my grandma, it was me.
Okay, I can't do this no more. I gotta be smart at
Yeah,
least.
I looked at it, it said 1.0. I was like, "Oh god,
Bro,
no."
I would have felt the same way, bro. Because one thing about me, I probably was, because I was I was a rebellious child. Like, but my mama would ask me if I wanted to do certain things. But of course, in classes, she wasn't really the teachers. Like when I was in I was in was it not middle school, primary school. When I was in primary school, they used to put me in every program. Like, and I had this friend. It used to be a group of us that used to be in everything. And then me and my friend used to intentionally mess things up. Like even for little stuff like spelling bees. I don't even put me in no spelling bee. I ain't want to be on nobody's stage. Like I was rebelling hard against all that stuff. Like we used to intentionally spell words wrong so we wouldn't have to be in the spelling bees and stuff like that. But of course, you can't hide your like you said you was intentionally not getting no grades right. That my pride would not let me do that. everything else everything else I ain't doing, but my pride would not let me do that.
I did it. I would, when it came down to tests, I would write my name down and then I would turn it in blank. Sometimes I wouldn't even write my name, I would just turn it in blank. Homework, I wasn't doing. Studying, I wasn't doing. I was doing absolutely nothing that came down to school, like nothing. And report cards came, I saw them F's. I was like, yo, I don't like this. Like, this is ugly. I don't like this immediately because my grandma, she was so disappointed in me and I did not care. I didn't care at all because I was like, good. Because she like, you embarrassing me? Good. It was like, you got folks at the school talking about Van doing this, Van doing that. I can't believe it's Van. Good.
Not
I'm
about y'all.
glad.
This is not
But
about y'all.
my mama was just like, what are we supposed to do with this? I was just like, I don't know, but I didn't like it. Like, I think they probably thought that I got my grades up because of something they said. I ain't care nothing about what they were saying. I just didn't like it. I didn't like
Right.
it. I started doing my work. I got it back up to like a 3.4. I was like, oof, all right. Like
Oh
my very
yeah.
next report card was 3.4. I was like,
Them grades
yes.
is important now. Like I ain't like this other stuff. I ain't doing nothing else. But if I would have, and I had a math teacher that I used to have such a hard time in her class because she was very particular about how she wanted things done. And so I always had papers to sign to give my mama. Like, and I used to go to my mama room because she never home, right? I used to before I go to school, I'm going in that room in the dark. She getting the paper, she signed, she ain't looking at it. So she ain't saying nothing to me. I used to wake her up when she's sleepy, she ain't know what's going on. I used to wake
Right.
her up, Mom, I need my paper signed. Like I could have very well left it on the table for her to sign it, but nah. I don't like this grade, so I know how you gonna feel about it. But mama wasn't really like whenever we would get bad grades, she was never really like hard on us about it. It would just be like, well, obviously, if y'all got bad grades, y'all was struggling. Like, cause I know my kids, I know y'all not gonna fail on purpose, or y'all not gonna do y'all work. And it took me
Right.
so long to like get used to her class because she was so particular about how she wanted you to do. Like, bro, if I'm coming up with the answer, why does it matter the formula I'm using? The answer right.
Right. As
Like,
long as I got
bro,
that answer, why does it matter?
she was so particular, and that used to annoy me because when y'all get to high school, y'all not gonna be able to get away with this. When I got to high school, you was the hardest we had. Like they teachers did not care as long as we was getting them answers right. You making our life hard.
Now, I did have a situation where I don't know if it was a pretty privileged situation, but it was more of like I said, I know I did have like I probably did have pretty privilege in areas that I wasn't aware of,
Same.
but it was more of shock for people than me getting like opportunities and stuff. But I did have a case where I wasn't trying out at first. Um, just doing regular PE. And there were drills like our PE coach used to basically make us do like basketball drills because a lot of the students were on the basketball team, or a lot of the times the basketball team would come in there and try to like, train or whatever
Right.
during our PE time. So we would end up doing a lot of the stuff that they was doing. As big as I was, apparently I was more athletic than a lot of the athletes because I was keeping up with them during the drills. Like I
Right.
wasn't stopping. Like we had
Not
runs where we
Van
would have to
Bryant. Van Bryant. Van James.
like we had to run. I hated it, but we had to run. We would have to run full speed for a solid minute, do 30 seconds of walking, do a minute of
Mm-mm.
running, 30 seconds of walking. And you couldn't do like no slow walk. It had to be like a fast walk.
Mm-mm.
Run, walk. And I was keeping up. I was doing all of it. Tired, cramping, but I was doing it. I was pushing myself. I was mentally pushing myself to just get through it, get through it, get
Right.
through it. And the coach noticed that. And he was like, "You ever thought about playing basketball?" I played basketball every single day at home. Every single day at home. Never thought about
Bro,
joining
I
the
would
team.
have never guessed that you played basketball, bro.
Yeah. I played basketball every single day at home, and then in the gym because I had like a free period in high school. I would go to the gym and just play basketball in the gym, and I was really, really, really good at threes. For some reason, I sucked at fucking layups, but I was really good at free throws. So
Girl, I was using sick privilege to get out of gym. I'm sick.
he
I can't do
noticed
that.
that, and he was just like, "You want to play basketball?" I was like, "You got gas money?" Because I lived in a different city than the school that I went to. So every morning we're driving back and forth. And I was like,
Right.
my grandma ain't gonna be driving all the way down here for me to go no basketball practice. And he was like, what
Especially after
about
you
being
put
a
them
manager?
pageants.
Right. He was like, what about being a manager? And I was like, you got gas money? Because that still means I gotta come down here. Like,
Right.
no. Only time I know for a fact I had pretty privilege was at work because I was a server.
Oh
That
yeah.
helped me a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
I remember just standing at um at a stand getting napkins. I was getting napkins. I like to be prepared. I used to have napkins, forks, spoons. I would have them wrapped up individually, and
Mm-hmm.
straws in one pocket, and then I would have like salt, pepper in the other pocket, and I had all my tip money, which I used to use as change, in my pocket as well, like in my
Mm-hmm.
apron. And this one guy like poked my side. Now you ain't supposed to touch me, but he poked my
Right.
side, and I turned around like because it's hundreds of people walking around. So I turned around, and he threw. I had a tray in my hand that I
Mm-hmm.
used to just walk around with, and he threw a 20 on it. And I was like, "What can I get you?" Because that's how I work. Like
Right.
you pay me, I'm gonna go get what you need. And he threw a 20 on my tray, and I was like, "What's this for?" He was like, "Just for being pretty," and walked off. Okay. I put it off in
Bro,
my
have I
pocket. I
ever
kept
got money
walking.
for being pretty? I don't think I got those privileges. But at the same time,
Oh no.
I also wasn't working or anything like that. So yeah. Um, but yeah, you was real life Zuri. Like that whole moment that she had at the beginning, the pageant moment, that was your life. But I said no to pageants. Like that was a no for me. Plus I was a tomboy. Me like getting dressed up and like being prissy and like, doing the pageant stuff it wasn't my thing. It wasn't my thing. Wasn't my thing. But hold up, next question. Let me wait till you get back on screen. You can see it better like this. What time is it? Oh, this Emily. She looks so different. I'm on with her right now, but her thing cut off, so I'm waiting for her to come back. We was talking, but her god dang it, my leg hurts. Her I gotta hurry up and get done with this because my leg is not having it. She got cut off, or she back now?
My bad, technical difficulties.
Oh, it's cool. It happens, especially with Zoom. I was seeing it was coming up with other platforms that work better than Zoom for podcasting and stuff, but of course it costs money. I mean, this costs money too, but I was able to get a 50% off because I was about to cancel it. And it was like, nah, don't cancel. Here's 50% off. I was like, okay, cool. I'll take it. Sure. Y'all want me to have y'all service that bad?
Right. I was thinking about on the podcast, well, for outside of that time frame, we
Yeah.
probably, because I noticed some of us use voice notes a lot, and I was like, we might as well move on back to Marco for this.
That we might do that. Yeah, because it shows up. Would it show up on the screen? Yeah, it would. But Marco we would have to download every individual video, save
True.
every individual video.
That's true. I think I paid for the last month's thing, and I don't think I like took it off or nothing, but I was like, I don't even be on there.
That's all I'm about to say. We don't even be on there no more. Our little group.
Everybody working now, everybody got stuff going on.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Anyway, back to the pretty privilege. So yeah, I think that's the only time I just really truly recognized pretty privilege situation was when I got paid just for being cute. And I remember I was going through it wasn't even a horrible breakup, but inside I was pissed. I wasn't hurt, but I was just really pissed.
Right.
And I cut my hair, that's what we do when we going through something emotionally,
Exactly.
we cut our hair. And I cut my hair. I cut it off and dyed it this color with
I
Kool-Aid.
love that color on you.
Thank you. I kind of want to dye it again. Anyway, I cut it and I dyed it this color. This is when I was still doing perms and I had it crinkled like this. So my actual hair was crinkled like this in this color. And I was passing by one of my executives. I used to look up to him too. Cause like business wise, I used to look up to him. And he was on the phone and he was passing by. You know how them top executives be. They be walking around in their business suits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, he was kind of an attractive man, but business wise is what I was looking at. Like I looked up to him business wise. And he used to
Right.
always ask me like ideas and shit like that. And was passing by and randomly, because he has never done it before, and randomly, like because he was on his phone and he pushed it to the side. He said, "You look beautiful today," and kept walking. I was like,
At least
like
it was respectful. Like he was respectful.
he was very respectful. It was nothing. It was never anything out of the way. But during those times, during work like that, that was the only time I experienced pretty privileged because people would literally either tip me more or tip me period, and I ain't even
Right.
did nothing. Like I haven't even provided a service, but would just pay me just because they thought I was pretty. Like
What do you think people get out of that? You think it makes them feel good?
I honestly have no idea. As long as I was receiving the money and didn't have to do nothing in return, I didn't care.
I feel
Because my
you.
tip jar, we had tip jars, and like if there were other people working with me, we would
Mhm.
have our own individual tip jar, and you just keep whatever tips you got.
Right.
And I would purposely move to another register because sometimes I would have to work the register. Sometimes I was like a runner. So
Right.
I would purposely move to another register because I knew this certain register got the most customers. And I
Right.
didn't want it to seem like I'm taking advantage of that knowledge and stuff like that. Like these people don't work down here. Let them get that chance. And I would
Right.
still end up with more tips because people just like what like, and I can honestly say that's when I took care of myself the most as well. I was taking care of my
If
hair. I was taking care of like my hands, like how they look now. You wouldn't catch me like that
bro,
back then. My nails was
tell
gonna
me
be
about
done.
it.
My hands look perfect because that's what they're seeing. Like when they're handing me money or I'm handing them stuff on the tray, they're looking directly at my hands. So I had
Right.
to make sure my hands stayed on point. Like I didn't get crazy stuff, but decent because I also had to do a lot of work. I
Right.
had to do a lot of heavy lifting, had to do a lot of running. So, but I made sure my hands looked right and I lost a lot of weight. I was in a size small. Like I was in
Go,
a
girl.
size small. So
No, a small. Yeah, I definitely was in a small before.
I was taking care of myself and I was getting paid for looking pretty. So
Oh,
I
look at
definitely made sure.
shoot. If that's pretty much the life, really. You gotta take care of yourself. They look you look nice. They give you money. And people say a lot of women do take advantage of it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I don't. People
Except for
gonna
this
give it
one
to you.
guy, he was creepy. I had to tell somebody um to let me know when they saw him so that I wouldn't be in the
Right.
vicinity because he used to always call me over to take his order, but he used to always want to talk to me like in private. Like he used to go around the corner where nobody else would be sitting to get me to
Yeah.
like take his order and stuff. And then he'd be like, "We have a pool house in Florida. You ought to visit sometime. Like here, I'll be
Yeah,
able to
that's
pay
the
for your
weird
stuff." And I'm just
stuff.
like, "Yeah." And he used to come looking for me, like,
Mm,
um. So let's say, like for example, this is where he would be sitting. This is a big ass pillar that's like
right.
as wide as the building itself. And then on the other side of that pillar is a stand where you can get food.
Right.
Instead of just walking over there to get that food, because it's on the same floor, it's right there. It's like 10 feet away, 10 feet away. He
Right.
would go all around. He would go upstairs, downstairs, looking for me to take his order.
Yeah.
So it got to a point
That
I
was
had to
some
tell the
Diamond
lady.
Players Club stuff. I forgot you
Right.
said
And I had to
he
tell the lady at the stand, I was like, if he looks for me or you see him looking for me, let me know. Or when he shows up, let me know so I won't be over here. Because the
right.
stuff that she served at that stand, they served it at another stand. So for my customers that wanted the same items, I would just go to the other stand. Take a
Right.
little longer, but I would just go to the other stand and get it because I was like, I don't want him to see me. I don't want him
That's
talking to me.
crazy you even had to do that. Cause before you go, check out my website at srgram.org and scroll all the way down to the bottom to fill out the subscription form to get updates, news, and book releases. Thank you.